It's time for a cup of coffee with Will and Chris at Slumberland Furniture. From Slumberland Furniture in Osage Beach, here are your hosts, William Holtz and Chris Schneider.
Well, what's going on, Lake of the Ozarks? Time for another cup of coffee. I'm Wild Will. This is Uncle Chris. And Uncle Chris, it's going to be a good show. We got some local teams, competitive teams from our local high schools doing really well.
Yeah, and we got one of the schools that won a national championship. How about that?
I'll tell you about that, show you their cool Saturday. They actually got a, what do you call it?
A parade thing or something? Escort.
Escort, yeah, like an escort. It was really cool. We'll show you that. Also, tainted Halloween candy or could be a bad case of bud. Interestingly enough, we'll tell you about that. Our good friend Chris Galloway with Papo's. 10 years they celebrate that. They got stores everywhere.
Oh, and they've got Papo's. If you haven't been to Papo's yet, you need to go.
That, and of course, we saw some stuff on Facebook about dumping your leaves in the lake. Yeah. A lot of us kind of think that's normal. Well, LOA actually releases a press release going to talk to us about why that may not be such a good idea. That and our hometown hero on this week's Cup of Coffee. But first, is Daryl here?
Daryl's here, I think, isn't he?
I think Daryl's here.
Yeah.
So what's Daryl have to say?
Hey everyone, Daryl Cunningham with Slumberland Furniture at the Lake. Well, it's November, and that means dining season. We're going to have a family over for Thanksgiving dinner. We need a new place for everybody to sit. Come see us at Slumberland Furniture. We have hundreds of styles in stock ready to go, and they're all on sale. Slumberland Furniture, where we're bringing happy home.
All right, so as we get started this week, Chris, one of our favorite parts of our job is the high school sports coverage.
Yeah, love it.
We absolutely love it. We got a couple of teams playing in a district championship Friday. We'll tell you about the Lakers and Osage, but it's always exciting when any of our local competitive teams, and for Eldon, the volleyball team did something they hadn't done in a long, long time. They won a district championship over Logan Rogersville. Then they end up going all the way to the Final Four. Of course, they did end up losing to Blair Oaks, who won the state championship, and they lost in the third place game to St. Genevieve, but did go 4 sets. But a fourth place Class 3 finish in the state of Missouri. Very, very impressive, something that hadn't been done for a long time. And so we here at Lake TV want to congratulate the Eldon Mustangs, all of their girls. You see some pictures there. Kaylee Lyons, the head coach, and her staff, Manny Asbury and Rona Prater. Good work, ladies. I know that the support was crazy. They had a couple of bus drivers that were able to drive almost 100 students to the Final Four to support the volleyball program. A lot of parents and faculty and alumni had traveled to that as well. So that Mustang spirit is proud, and their volleyball team rewards them with a 4th place finish in the state. So congratulations, ladies. All right. Also, another big accolade is the Camdenton Junior ROTC. They win like the biggest national championship. That's like the big dog, right?
Yeah, this is incredible. The national championship. That means they're the best in the nation. And they do this competition all over the world. They call it the Raider competitions. Never even heard of it before, right? So did a little information look up here. They are athletic competitions held at junior ROTC programs around the world. Take place outdoors, usually consist of individual strength tests like push-ups, tire drag, obstacle course, things like that. And the Camdenton Junior ROTC won the national championship.
Wow.
Unbelievable.
And you see, I mean, some of those things, you start reading off push-ups and tire drag and obstacle course. I mean, I'm not sure they didn't invite you to join the national championship
I
team.
would be the tire that they were dragging. That's what that would be. And this wasn't like a low turnout for competition. They had 100% filled capacity. So they won the national championship against a full field.
Yeah, a full field. And when they got back on Saturday morning, Megan Albers, our digital services director, she was actually out there. Got video of, I said encore, it's not encore, what is it?
They got an escort.
An escort, why? That word is just escaping me, it's eluding me. But they got an escort, and you see there was a lot people involved. That had the Camdenton PD, Lynn Creek PD, Camden County Sheriff, Park Rangers, Conservation Department, the Missouri State Highway Patrol, and the Mid-County Fire Department. All those municipalities getting involved for the escort as the junior ROTC team returns to Camdenton as national champions.
Yeah.
How cool is that?
Wow, just unreal. I mean,
Golf? How about Osage Golf?
The Osage girls golf team won the state championship. The Osage soccer team just won the district title. So there's been a lot of great things going on here.
And I'm pretty sure Eldon's cross country team just took 10th in the state tournament. I was looking on their Facebook page and trying to gather some photos that you guys just saw. So just some great local schools. And of course, is a great time to tell you that we still have 2 football teams.
Yep.
Osage, they're winners of 7 games in a row. They're going to play in the district championship at Reed Springs Friday. What can you tell us about Reed Springs?
Reed Springs is 8-2. They won their conference this year. They're good. Coach Jolly was telling us on the Coaches Show, which you can see at 10:02, 2:02, and 6:02 every day, that they actually usually see them preseason every year, kind of at the jamborees and stuff like that. So they're a little familiar with them, but this is the real deal. That ought to be a good game. But I think a very winnable game for Osage. And then I think the sectional final the next week is a winnable game too, because they'll play the winner between Boonville and Moberly. If they can get by Reed Springs. So.
Yeah, I'm telling you, this is going to be a tough out the rest of the way if you have to play the Osage Indians, because the style of play, they're just so tough, and they're playing their best football. I mean, 7 in a row, they packed their early schedule with really tough opponents. They lost to Moberly early in the year. They could get them in a couple of weeks, and that would be one you feel like after. That was a close game early on. They're better, so look out for the Indians. I'm super excited to see if they can beat Reed Springs and then where they go from there. And, of course, Camdenton, we're way more familiar with Lebanon, and Camdenton they played just a few weeks ago. Camdenton really handled them. That this will be a completely brand new ball game. They've both lost one game. Of course, Camdenton handed Lebanon that defeat, but that is going to be a crazy game. If you thought week 8 of the season was nuts at both 7-0, this is for the district championship and go on to the sectionals. So what do you think going into this game?
It's going to be cold on Friday, right? The high is supposed to be in the low to mid 40s, which would seem to favor Lebanon. Lebanon has a run game. They love to run, ground and pound. Camdenton can do both. They can run and pass, but they really like to pass. I still think since Camdenton won that first game that they're probably the team to beat, but don't put it past Lebanon. If the Lakers have a couple of turnovers, make some mistakes, they could definitely get beat. But there's a good chance the winner of this game, the Camdenton-Lebanon game, will go on to win the state championship. That's how good both of these teams are.
Yeah, you're absolutely right. And I want to say this, that first time that Camdenton and Lebanon played, don't forget, Camdenton did not come out and pass the football. As a matter of fact, they pounded the rock. They gave Lebanon a little dose of their own medicine.
Yeah.
And so Lebanon's seen that from Camdenton. But in Camdenton District Championship, my prediction, not only does Camdenton win this game, but I told you after that Glendale loss, they will not lose again. They're going to win a state championship. And so my bold prediction of the week is the Camdenton Lakers not only handle Lebanon and then the couple of teams to follow, they're going to hoist the state championship trophy
That would be
this year.
Awesome, wouldn't it? For Jeff Shore as he retires at the end of this year, that would be something else.
If the football gods have anything to do with it, that's exactly how it's going to play out, because you can't draw up a more perfect ending to a more storybook coaching career, can
That
you?
would be it. That would be it. That would be the Hollywood ending right there.
I'm already tearing up a little bit thinking about that ending. So, all right. So as we move ahead, our good friend Chris Galloway, he's got Papos, he's got Mamacitas, and you guys might not realize, as it's here at the lake, Papos is actually all over the state of Missouri, and they just and other states. They just celebrated 10 years last Thursday. And it was down in Springfield at their original location, I believe.
Yeah, that's where their very first store was.
And they've now got stores in Quincy, Illinois, St. Louis, Columbia. They're getting ready to open one in in Jefferson City.
I think they're even down like in Alabama now.
Yeah, somewhere down in Alabama. And so really cool. They're such huge contributors, the Galloway family, to the lake community, to the charities, and they employ a lot of people, and they feed a lot of people some really good food.
Like us.
And they did $10 large pepperoni pies for their anniversary, I believe. You get to see some pictures there. And Chris, such a great guy.
Yeah.
You may not know this about him. He's also a Christian music artist, musician. He's been on the Community Spotlight show actually just a couple weeks ago. You can still watch that entire interview on our YouTube, on our Facebook, and on our Roku channel. But he is really neat, isn't he?
Yeah, and very, very talented. I mean, not just in the restaurant business, and Papo's is great. I mean, if you haven't been there, you got to check it out. But like you said, he had a song on the top music charts in the UK as a musician, and he's still in a band. I think he was telling me on the Spotlight show they're just putting out a new album, he and his band. So you might go check that out too, because that's pretty awesome.
And I Facebook friends when I saw as he had released one of the songs. It's actually performing incredibly well, and he set a record for himself for the fastest climb up into the top whatever it was. So just huge congratulations, 10 years. It really doesn't seem like Papo's has been around for 10 years because, they caught on quickly, and then you kind of take them for granted, and you're like, man, I've been down here 10 years. I think here at the lake almost 8 years, but just we love Chris, we love that family, and so thank you to Papo's and congratulations, and hopefully you guys took advantage of that $10 pie because you won't find a better deal at the lake.
We need to get over there and do another Will and Chris Taste the Lake at Papo's, because that was last time we were there. I think we almost ate all their food over there.
Yeah, we tried everything on the menu essentially, tried some good cold drinks, but luckily for all of us, I wouldn't be able to drink if we went back, which is a good thing for everybody involved. All right, so Papo's celebrates 10 years. That's going to lead me to, you saw on Facebook some of the posts asking about leaves in the lake. I think somebody posted a picture of their neighbor putting it in the water, kind of like Tattletale, which I see both sides there. So you used to believe that you could throw your leaves in the lake. I mean, heck, they blow off the tree, they blow into the water anyway, but the LOA organization, the Lake Ozark Watershed Alliance, they came out with a news break just on leaves at the lake, and it's really valuable information.
Yeah.
And so, Chris, like it says, here are some reasons why dumping leaves in the lake can be harmful, things that I didn't know anything about, and I'll let you run through those.
Yeah, I didn't know this either. And, I just moved to the lake full time, about 3 or 4 years ago, and we're on the water. And so my thought was always, just rake them into the water. The fish will eat the leaves or something like that. I thought it was actually a good thing. And then they say, no, that's not. Here's some of the reasons they give you for not putting your leaves in the lake, right? Decaying leaves release nutrients, often leading to algae blooms in the water, which can be harmful for fish. Didn't know that, right?
Who knew?
Exactly.
And pets and humans.
Right, and pets and humans. And so
should we swim, which tons of us do?
If you jump in the water, who knows what's in there anyway, but you don't want more in there, right? So, and your pets, like you're a pet lover, you don't want your dogs and cats down there, drinking that, eating that and stuff. Decomposition of leaves uses oxygen, and that would take away oxygen from the creatures in the lake, from the fish and everything else in the lake. Who knew? Again, can cause rotten egg smell. If you live on the water or if you drive over the bridges, you smell that every once in a while, that kind of that nasty marine smell. Apparently part of that is from that.
I'm gonna start trying that with Unique. I'm pretty sure that's the leaves in the lake, honey.
Yeah, right. I forgot to take my Beano. It must be bad leaves in the lake there.
I can see you using that on Mrs. Uncle Chris.
I probably have already used that one on Mrs. Uncle Chris. So it also blocks sunlight needed for microbes that fish and aquatic plants need. Again, another reason not to put your leaves in the water. And many leaves will even eventually get trapped in the dam fish net, the Bagnell Dam fish net. So there's a whole lot of reasons enough leaves are going in anyway, just blowing in naturally. So don't just rake them in there anymore.
And they also offered some alternatives like composting leaves is a great way to produce nutrient-rich soil. So, if you want to burn those and then you could use those in the soil, that's great. Bag leaves and have them hauled away by a company. There are many leaf removal companies here around the lake. Burning leaves, this is important. Leaf ash removes a lot of oxygen from the water. So when you're burning leaves, be sure to do so away from the riverbank. Always call for approval from local fire departments before you burn them. That's another way that would allow you to dispose of them. Better than just throwing them in the lake. They also want to mention, check out LOA's grant programs. You can call them at 573-836-5080, as well as that website on your screen, thelowawatershed.org. But they're a great organization, and the timing of this was wonderful because you saw those posts going on Facebook.
Yeah.
And I think some people didn't know either way. They're like, well, I think that's bad, but I also used to do that. Why do you not do that? Well, here's an inside look at why from the Lake Ozark Watershed Alliance.
And
we
I
appreciate
believe if you do either of that, if you purposefully rake or blow leaves into the water, or if you burn, like on the bank, when the water gets low, there's usually room down there where you can burn down there,
Right.
And that's not good either. You're not. And I think if they catch you doing that, you can be fined for both of those.
Yeah, and if it has anything to do with outdoors or the Missouri Department of Conservation, the conservation agents, we love them, but they have more power than basically the federal government, the IRS, the president. I mean, you don't want to mess with the conservation agents.
Got to be careful about that, yeah.
For sure. All right, so one of our favorite segments this week, it's our Hometown Hero, presented by Central Ozarks Medical Centers, and we get to honor someone new every single week that gives back and contributes to our lake community. And a lot of the times that's through the form of service, giving of products and goods, opening up their home, or just their continued commitment to excellence as they serve others. And this week we got a great nomination from Kara Gerdeman, who's with Kids Harbor. And she wrote, I'd like to nominate Julia Hammond as the Lake of the Ozarks Hometown Hero this week. Julia has served on Kids Harbor's board of directors for many years. Even after her timing off the board, or after her time ran up, she remained an avid volunteer and support to the agency, returning to board service after just 1 year off. She puts countless hours as an ambassador for Kids Harbor's mission to provide coordinated response, healing, and prevention of child abuse. She's also big at supporting their staff throughout the years, remembering the difficulty of their job, finding ways to recognize them, sharing treats, lunches, and she absolutely loves people. I know she loves her community, her family, and her friends, and she gives selflessly of her time, whether it's sharing Kids Harbor's mission through the community, donating her time to help with these fundraisers, cooking for parent education classes, providing breakfast. She mentioned in parentheses, have you had her cinnamon rolls, which I have not. And
I think we need to try that.
I think we need to try that. Or snacks for staff and volunteers during events. She serves on other boards and committees as well. Julia works hard to make sure the children we serve have what they need to be comfortable and heard. And she does this by sharing our wish list needs and tirelessly representing the agency throughout the community. So Kara Gerdeman with Kids Harbor ends with, we love Julia and her servant's heart. She is strong, beautiful, energetic, courageous woman, and we're so blessed to have her on our team. Please help us recognizing her dedication, her care for others, and her true compassion. And that is why this week Julia Hammond is our COMC Hometown Hero. Pretty cool.
That is so cool. I saw that letter from Kara Gerdeman, and it just almost made me cry. And that's what we want to hear from you.
100%.
We want you to tell us who deserves this honor, because we don't know everybody in town.
Right.
You know just about everybody in town, but so many people out there deserving of that recognition. Kara, thanks for letting us know. That is so cool.
Yeah, super well done. She also helped with some photos, and Julia is as great as it gets. I don't know if you've gotten a chance to meet her. She's
I don't think so.
Really sweet, always smiling, always welcomes you with a big hug. I just love getting to be around her, and so very fitting that she would be this week's Hometown Hero.
Yep.
All right, on to sports, which I'm hesitant to even want to go into sports because once again, this was a terrible, horrible, no good, very bad, rotten, in the muck, never want to experience it again weekend of sports.
Only because the Bills lost,
No,
right?
Sabres lost Friday, Sabres lost Saturday, Eldon lost in the Final Four, Mizzou lost Saturday, the Bills lost. I didn't win Pick'em. What is going on?
It was just a lost weekend.
What in the wide world of sports is going on, and what have they done with my quarterback in Buffalo?
Oh, yeah. See, Josh Allen got hurt.
That wasn't
they're doing
even
some
him.
tests on him, so hopefully
I don't know.
he's okay.
I don't know who that guy has been the last 6 quarters of football wearing jersey number 17, and I want to know what they've done with my quarterback, because that is not him.
Yeah, the Jets knocked off the Bills last week. That was pretty crazy.
And Jets are good, but man, Bills just looked dismal. So more importantly for people here watching Cup of Coffee, because I'm like, one of 3 Bills fans in the state of Missouri.
Yeah, you and Waggett, and is there somebody else?
Yeah, Pastor Steven.
Oh, okay, well, there you go.
You know, also Brinley's big Bills fan, Andrew's big Bills fan, you know.
Okay.
All right, so Chiefs, interesting game because you didn't have Ryan Tannehill against the Titans Sunday night, but Malik Willis filled in, and that game went to overtime.
Yeah, and actually for 3/4 of that game, Tennessee dominated the Chiefs. Kansas City was just beaten up, down, and sideways, and then Patrick Mahomes, right?
Yeah.
Midway through the 4th quarter, it's 3rd and 18. He runs for 20 yards, and then he runs it in for the touchdown. Then he runs it in for the game-tying 2-point conversion. If it wasn't for Patrick Mahomes, they'd have lost that game. They deserved to lose that game, but found a way to win it.
They got like 16 defensive penalties in that 2-point conversion try. Just kept getting to try it.
But
that's
Tennessee's game. They play you down and dirty and ugly and nasty, and they'll foul you and do all that stuff.
Yep.
That's their game. That's the way they play. And I think the Chiefs tried to play their game in the 1st quarter, and they found out they couldn't play that game.
Yeah, I was surprised because without Ryan Tannehill, Willis, we've seen that he's pretty quick, but he's not really passing the ball down the field. They didn't even attempt, but 2 passes in the 1st quarter.
Yeah.
It's tough to stop Derrick Henry, but the Chiefs got the W, and yeah, Mahomes, when it mattered most, he kind of rose to a new level of play. So the Chiefs improved to 6-2, and they sit right up there, tied for first with Buffalo, you see there in the standings. However, Buffalo has that head-to-head tiebreak with them. Baltimore 6-3, so the AFC conference still kind of wide open because you've got Baltimore with 6 wins, the Jets and Dolphins with 6 wins, of course Buffalo and Kansas City with 6 wins. So gonna be interesting. But for the Chiefs to get that win and for Buffalo to lose the Jets, that was a big swing weekend for Kansas City as far as the potential of hosting playoff games and getting that first round bye. And if you look at the division, really, I thought it was going to be, I thought the Raiders would be better. I thought the Broncos would be better. Chargers have been okay. They're kind of coming in. But they about blew one last weekend.
Yeah, they did. We thought the AFC West was going to be the best division in football, and it hadn't turned out that way.
It's the AFC East.
Yeah, I mean, it's pretty crazy. And the NFC East is really good this year, too, with Dallas and the Eagles and the Giants doing really well. But we've got a long way to go here. The Chargers are going to be really dangerous all the way through. They're just 1 game behind the Chiefs. So that's going to be tough. It is going to be interesting to see how it plays out. You mentioned, you got the Chiefs, Baltimore, Miami, Buffalo, all tied with a 6-2 record. The AFC #1 seed, the seeding it's up for grabs at this point.
No doubt. All right, so we told you about the high school football layout and what's going to happen this weekend. So you can watch that Camdenton-Lebanon District Championship game on Lake TV. It'll kick off at 6:30 with the Central Ozarks Medical Center pregame show. However, if you're looking to watch on Facebook where you typically watch, we will not have the stream there. You're going to have to watch on our Roku channel, or you'll have to download or buy the pay-per-view from Misha. You have to buy that pay-per-view, and there's a link that we'll put on our Facebook page.
Yeah.
And you can watch that. I think it's $10?
Yeah, I think it is $10. It's just Misha TV, Missouri State High School Activities Association, Misha TV.
We didn't make the rules.
No, in fact.
We didn't want to charge you guys $10 to watch this.
No, usually you can watch for free during the regular season on our Facebook feed and all that. Playoffs are different. It's Misha rules, and we have to play by their rules.
Right.
So that's why. Otherwise, it would all be free for you. But you can still watch it for free, Como Channel 90. And remember, there's always an encore of the Friday night's game before, the next Tuesday evening at 7:32. So you can watch Lebanon's win on Saturday, Tuesday night at 7:32 kind of thing.
Right, very good. All right, so before we head into our weekly Pick'em, I wanted to give a shout out to Kevin Hornick. He's in our Pick'em league.
Yeah.
He's a big Bearcats fan.
He's awesome, isn't he?
Yeah, he's the man. He is way cool, and he big-time Northwest Missouri State fan. They won their 4th in a row over Missouri Southern Saturday, 27-5. They're going to end the regular season at Emporia State Saturday at 1 o'clock. And here's the weird thing with that Division II. I'm not sure how familiar you are.
Not really.
But in the different regions, which they're in Region 3, only the top 7 teams will, there's 8 teams that are ranked in the top 12 in the country in that region. So some of those powerhouses are going to get left out. Currently, the Bearcats are 10th in the country, and they're going to play at 9th-ranked Emporia State.
Wow.
So a win there could catapult them into that top 7. We'll see how it plays out. But keep my fingers crossed for our buddy Kevin Hornick and the Northwest Missouri State Bearcats. All right, so time for Pick'em. I am not real excited about the last couple weeks. Andrew's gaining all this ground. Look at Andrew and Marvin tied this week at 11-2, got 12 points plus a bonus point. I was also 11-2, but my Bills really hurt me because if I would have got that game, I took the league.
Yeah.
I took the league this week.
Yeah.
Remember how it goes last year? Well, if that field goal and that overtime.
Yeah,
and
if I just would have won that overtime game, heck, yeah, I know.
And then, Chris, you had 10, the Kitchens, Kevin, Megan, Ricky. So as the standings look, Andrew's really made up some ground.
Wow.
I'm still in first by 1 point at 95. Andrew's got 94. You and Kevin right there at 90. And then after that, Ricky, the Kitchens, and Marvin and Megan. But Marvin's made up some ground the last couple weeks because he got that first place finish. So be interesting as Andrew gets closer, making me a little nervous. Another thing that happened bad this weekend,
What?
Lost ground in the Pick'em League too.
Yeah,
I might as well just give up on sports.
Yeah, I mean, might as well. Yeah.
All right, let's run through them real quick. I have the Panthers over the Falcons.
I've got the Falcons winning that.
All right, so we're different on the first one.
Okay.
I've got Brady after his big comeback win over the Seahawks.
Yeah, I do too. I took Tampa on that, but I've really been impressed with Seattle this year. They've surprised me. They've done really well.
And everybody kind of predicted a couple years ago that Geno Smith would be in the MVP conversation right now.
Yeah.
Remember when he was
Yeah.
drafted by the Jets in 2013 and, he was the biggest bust in Jets franchise history?
Now he's coming on.
It's kind of wild. You look at the Dolphins hosting Cleveland.
I got Miami.
How about those Dolphins?
I tell you what, that's pretty
How about
impressive.
Tua Tagovailoa?
Yeah.
I got the Titans over the Broncos.
I do have Tennessee. I was really impressed with them against Kansas City. They really should have won that game.
And should get Tannehill back. He
Yeah.
should be back for that one.
Think so.
I've got the Bears over the Lions.
I do too. I think the Bears are really coming on. Both those teams are really coming on, but I got the Bears.
I've got the Giants over the Texans.
Yeah, I kind of feel bad for the Texans. They just kind of are the doormat of the league this year.
Better them than my Bills, I'll tell you that. I've got the Chiefs over the Jaguars.
I do too, and but the Jags are coming on. Look out for them.
Well, they were like 2-0 to start the year, 3-1, and then they kind of lost a stretch of games. But yeah, I like Lawrence. I think that the Jags are coming on as well. This one I was kind of split on. I got the Bills beating the Vikings because I can't pick against my Bills.
Right? Yeah.
But man, I love the Vikings. They're, what are they, 8-1?
Yeah, they've really played well. They've won a lot of close games this year.
Which is the difference.
Yeah.
I told you last year, they lost a lot of games with second half leads, and they lost a lot of close ones in overtime and last second field goals. But Kirk Cousins always gives his team a chance, and this year I'm happy to see him getting rewarded. 8-1.
Yeah, I do have the Bills winning that. Josh Allen hurt his arm last week. We'll have to see how that turns out. That could be a big factor for everything the rest of the
Worth
year.
mentioning, Case Keenum, the Bills' backup quarterback, used to be with the Vikings. He threw the touchdown pass to Stephon Diggs for the Minneapolis Miracle. You remember that game?
Yeah, oh yeah.
The safety was falling asleep, it looked like. All right, so Raiders over the Colts.
Yeah, I've got the Raiders as well.
Very good. Cardinals over the Rams.
I've got the Rams.
Oh, so we're different there. I've got the Cardinals.
Okay,
yeah.
I've got the Rams. Okay.
I've got the Cowboys over the Packers.
I do too. Boy, the Packers have all of a sudden just gone in the tank, haven't they?
Yeah, not only that, I'm really expecting this to be the coming out party for Dak Prescott after this injury. There was talks early on with the backup quarterback, that he was going to be the guy. But you don't forget who Dak Prescott is and his ability. And with the team around him as good as they've been in a long time, Dallas is going to come on. And I would not be surprised if the Cowboys don't still win that division over Philadelphia.
Yeah, I would think there's a pretty decent chance of that too.
All right, and then I got the Chargers over the 49ers.
I've got the Niners winning
three
that.
Different. And then we're the same on the end. We both got the money pick. Eagles over the Commanders.
Yep.
So that'll be fun to keep an eye on. As we look ahead what's happening on Lake TV, you've got Amy Loig on...
Lovig?
Loig. Amy Lovig from the Hope House on the Community Spotlight Show. Now you made me overthink it. I was telling myself it was low. Lake TV Game of the Week, we told you about the district championship game. You've got Lebanon, you've got Camdenton. Man, meant a lot a couple weeks ago. Means even more. I hate to say it, this could be Coach Jeff Shore's final game.
It could, yeah, and we talked about that on the coaches show too. At this point, every game is one and done for Coach Shore. Since he's retiring, each game could be his last game.
So I hate to think about it. Like I said, not going to happen, but you have to have that there. in your thoughts.
Yeah.
Also, what's burning? Chris and I going to be filling in for the foreseeable future. Some exciting stuff happening internally. We're going to have DJ Kyle Miller. We're going to have DJ Jody Rue with Weed Dem Chiefs, his new hit single. Bill Lacasse and Jim Paisley going to come in, have a little fun, and I believe we've also got the Watchdog coming in as well. So going to be an action-packed show. As for this show, stop by and see me here at Slumberland. Until next week, goodbye and God bless.